Welcome to the Coast Podcast. I'm Emilie, a virtual assistant agency owner who left Amazon in 2019 to build my dream.
And I'm Whitney, a freelance writer and communications consultant who never felt at home in a cube farm.
We didn't see many people paving their own ways like we decided to, so we created this podcast to talk to others who were brave enough to pick a different path. Creatives, entrepreneurs, people doing their careers and their lives their way.
Join us as we learn from them, get inspired, and show you beautiful paths less traveled.
Not every road leads to the coast, but the ones that do come with a great view. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Coast Podcast. My name's Emilie Given, and I own a virtual assistant agency in Linwood, Washington.
And I'm Whitney Popa. I own a communications consultancy in Edmonds, Washington. And today we are with my Botox guru, Karen, help me pronounce it, Quaynor, Dr.
Quaynor,
Karen.
yeah.
Quaynor, who used to be a family physician and now is offering me all sorts of things, not just Botox, including IVs and nutrition therapy, which every time I get her email, I forward to my mom. And my mom's like, oh, you didn't tell me this. And I'm like, yes, I have forwarded you 3 of her emails about her IV therapy. So Dr. Karen does way more than Botox. She does so many things, and she's like way more qualified to be doing these things than really anybody else. And I'm just a light dabbler in it. I don't remember how, we were introduced through Instagram last year. And I'm just so grateful to have made the connection. We have so much to talk about, including like your background in history and how your uncle does Reiki, and you're just so many amazing things. And we are so grateful to have you today. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's truly a pleasure. You know, I adore you, so I'm just grateful you invited me.
Yeah, it's been a few months in the making for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to have this conversation because I have never done Botox. I am very scared of the pain aspect. So I've never been quite brave enough to dabble in it, but I'm excited to learn more.
You are not alone.
Let's learn. I know that you've had this conversation with lots of people about like being scared of it. But before we get into that, let's talk about like your history and how you are like from Trinidad but went to BSU, and it's this whole crazy thing. So I'd love to learn about like your journey to becoming a doctor and now essentially building your own business on your terms.
Yeah. Well, yes. So I am originally from Trinidad, even though my parents were here going to school, so I was born here, but they're from Trinidad and they wanted to raise us back home because I have like 156 cousins. Like I have a huge family. So they wanted to raise us in that environment with the caveat that we had to come back to the States for college, which I did, but in a kind of unconventional route. I When I did come back to the States, I wanted to live closer to my brother, and he was stationed out in Idaho in the military. And so that's how I ended up at Boise State University. And I did my undergrad and grad school there. And, I always wanted to be a doctor. Nobody in my immediate family or even extended was a doctor, didn't know how to get to that point. So navigating that was really interesting. And I did it with kids. Because I tell people I'm a masochist. I got married, had kids all through undergrad. I did grad school. I got my master's in health science before I went to med school at UW. And I always knew I wanted to do family medicine. because I'm really passionate about access to care for people, and just I couldn't just pick one thing. Everything just interested me. So I like taking care of the whole person. So that's why family medicine appealed to me so much.
Yeah, and you were doing that until just last year, right? Until you started your own little practice.
Yeah, well, actually, I kind of did them simultaneously while I was trying to figure out my exit strategy. I was getting really burnt out with COVID, like so many healthcare providers and professionals. And I was like, you know what? I need to do something else. And I talked to my girlfriend, who's a business coach, and she was like, well, what about Botox? And I was like, oh, hmm. I hadn't thought about it. And, the more I did research on it, the more intrigued I became. And I just opened up a little spot that I would, do that on the weekends while working full time. And it was just so much fun. And what I really, really, really like, and I'm sure you've heard this before, Whitney, but as I was practicing medicine, I felt like such a hypocrite because I was telling people to take care of themselves, but I wasn't taking care of myself at all. Not drinking enough water, not getting enough sleep. And so I was like, you know what? I need to step back. And I feel like aesthetics forced me to kind of take time for myself and my own self-care, um, and which is nice, and it's fun because also I help women boost their confidence and feel great about themselves, right? So I love it.
So, one, I'm a little upset that you're not doing family medicine anymore because I need a new PCP. Mine retired, and I'm just real sad. And okay, you were at Prov, right? So, I actually,
Yes.
before I was at Amazon, I was at Prov for about 5 years as a medical assistant in OBGYN. So, I don't know if you know any of the Prov OB providers, but like that's my OG work family, and we all keep in touch with each other all the time.
Yes, I do. And they are so good at what they do and so committed. Yes, I love the OBs at Providence a lot.
Did you know Eve Bernstein at all?
No, I did not ever get the pleasure. We had a lot of patients in common, and then actually, the patients told me that she left, and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah, she did.
no, she can't
She
leave.
was the actual best. Like, I was her MA, so that's just why I asked before I left. So, yeah, it's just such a small world. And, like, I think it's so cool because I was connecting with another Prov OB doctor who actually left and she's doing functional medicine clinic now. So, I think it's so cool that going from like traditional medicine to whatever modality makes your heart happier and like what doing things on your own term. I think it's so beautiful, so I commend you for doing that. And while I say that, we have to get Tiffany on the podcast too, the functional medicine doctor. That'd be so fun.
Oh, yes, please, because actually, that's one of the things that I'm considering also adding to my repertoire because I think it enhances the way that we practice medicine. I haven't fully given it up. Um, Actually, can I talk about? I've shared with Whitney that I still want to be able to care for people. I want to do it differently. And so without insurance, but still making it accessible and affordable. And actually, there is this movement in medicine called direct primary care, because I think insurance just complicates the relationship on many levels and makes life harder for everyone than it has to be. And so especially with people like Mark Cuban, who he started his company to make drugs more affordable for people. I think there are ways for us to kind of bypass insurance that overinflates the cost of everything to make it easier for people to get what they need.
It's a total movement and it's something that I'm already a part of. So if you ever want to talk about it, I just wrote two websites for two doctors over the past year. One is a functional medicine doctor based in Vancouver, and one is, what is the other one? And I'm totally blanking on it as we're recording, of course. Not a functional medicine, but a naturopath. And they have a membership program. That was the first thing that I wrote for them, was their sales page for their membership program, which is like starts at $120 a month. I think it's like $10 less per month for existing patients. And it's just incredible what these people are able to offer when they bypass the insurance model. And I'm not totally qualified to have a lot of conversation about that, but I know how damaging it is. And I was so lit up during these projects writing about them, because you can tell the passion that they're bringing and the expertise, and that they really just want to make it easier for people to get whole care. Like, as a whole human, this is how we can show up for you. And it's cool that you started your business with Botox, and then you're expanding more and more into like, oh, you like to take care of your looks. Now let's start thinking about the whole body, because a lot of women who are doing Botox are interested in that movement. They just don't know where to begin. So it's cool to have these touch points and think about wellness as like wherever you want to start, but inside out. And I see that as you're showing me more and more of like, oh, I have IV therapy now. I'm like, all right, hook me up.
I'm down for the IV therapy. Let's get it done. I'm excited.
Oh my gosh, let me tell you, I'm so happy to be able to offer this. And so just recently, my husband, he was sick, and I told him, I was like, you got to come in. You got to get, he was like, no, 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 it's okay. It's okay. No, no, no. I'll get better. I'll get better. And he wasn't getting better. I was like, just please, let me just give you some IV therapy. I have this one that's immune support. So it's a combination of vitamin C, B vitamins, and zinc. And I gave it to him, and he was a whole new person. And he was like, "Oh." And I was like, "I told you, like, just come on, let's do it, right?" There is utility in it, because a lot of times we don't absorb the nutrient. Like, say if you take some supplements, sometimes the bioavailability is not as good, and so just giving you the straight shot through the IV, or some of them just intramuscularly, makes a huge difference, right? And then too, with if people aren't drinking enough water, they're dehydrated, they're not getting enough nutrients through their diet too, this is a great adjunct.
The first experience I had with the IV, the hydration or IV therapy is the hangover bag. And I experienced that when I haven't done it, but I maybe I got like a B12 shot or something, but I thought it was really interesting. They have like mobile IV people in Vegas that will come to your hotel room and give you a banana bag. And I'm like, what the heck? This is a genius model. Anyway, I think it's really cool. Like, you can fix it to whatever your needs are. And I think that's really awesome. Like, you don't have to go get a referral from a provider and run it through your insurance, and it's easily accessible. And I think that's awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah, so that same functional medicine doctor, she's actually been my mom's doctor since I was in college, and my mom got on bioidentical hormones during menopause, and she was expanding her practice. She has all sorts of fun things, Botox, lasers, lots of room to play. She and her daughter, who's an RN, they were starting to offer more IVs. And while we were at the photo shoot for it, I was watching her make an IV bag for somebody who is coming in and recovering from like the tail end of COVID. And they're not afraid of any of that. They're just like, come on, we'll sit you down and put a bag on you, and they customized it for her based on her what she needed because of COVID, which I thought was really cool too. So there's, I don't know if you do that, Karen, but there's like room for customization within those as well.
I agree. So far, since I'm still building, I have it limited. But like the other day, I just had someone inquire about glutathione, which is another one that helps to boost your immunity. There are some there's some instances where patients aren't the right candidate for glutathione, but if you are, oh my goodness, it gives you such a good immune boost.
Yeah. Would you be willing to walk people through like, oh, I know nothing about IV therapy. What do they need to know and what does it look like for them?
So it's really important that you are candid about your health conditions, if you have any, the medicines that you're on, because IV therapy is not right for everyone. Say if you have an underlying kidney condition or a heart condition, we have to be really, really careful because you don't want people to um, retain any extra fluid that their kidney and heart can't handle. Also, in terms of the types of nutrients, we have to make sure that we keep everyone in balance. Um, so that's why it's so important that you have someone who is evaluating all those things. It's not just like a, hey, everyone can come in and get it right. We have to really do a medical screen first to make sure you're eligible. And then once we do that, then we can tailor it to whatever your needs are. B vitamins are excellent, um, give you that good energy boost. Amino acids, the building blocks of protein, are really important for energy, and also both the B vitamins and the amino acids help with weight loss too. Um, so there are weight loss IVs. There's immune, like so many different ones. Usually, I like to say give yourself an hour for the appointment. One for just the initial health intake. Usually, the actual treatment itself takes about 30 minutes.
And what about people who are afraid?
It involves needles, but usually, if you have, it's a good idea to just kind of take a look, and even from your own history, to let us know if it's hard for people to access your veins, because that makes it a little bit more tricky. And then we have to do a few more tricks to be able to try to get the access. But other than that, and I've been polling people, and usually it's not painful at all. And yeah, you leave feeling refreshed and ready to go. And I've also people have told me that they're sleeping better with it too.
I bet. The thing that's cool about like, I just feel like double taken care of when I'm there because it's not just like, oh, I'm going to see someone to do my Botox, which I know that people are super trained in that. It's just like, no, I'm going to like a doctor who knows what she's doing. And then like, you probably get this all the time where I'm like, oh, I have the sniffles. Like I was just feeling so dead one time when I came in and you gave me like a vitamin B shot, which changed my life. But I'm wondering if you have a lot of people who come in, they're like, can you give me some like medical advice while I'm here? Because that,
Yes.
I try not to, but
No, and other people can attest. I don't mind that because I feel like knowledge is power. And I am very generous with the information. So yeah, never feel like you're putting me out or anything like that when you ask me questions because I love it. I love to help people.
what's your most popular service right now?
Right now it's Botox, but quickly it's second is probably microneedling and chemical peels.
Hmm. Can you
Yeah,
talk more
they're
about those?
oh my gosh. So See, what I love is that, I was a tomboy for so long, so I didn't really like do anything with my skin. But microneedling, I use this pen and it has like a motor, and the tip has these little tiny needles. So of course we have to clean your face, numb you up, right? And then it's like a wand, and we're passing it over your face, all the different areas. It's a little more spicy over the forehead and around the mouth, so try to numb you up really good. And there are different depths that you can go to, but the whole science behind it is by creating these little micro channels, it's stimulating collagen production. So right after your face feels a little tight, you'll look like you were sunburned. Um, and then you might have a little bit of dryness and peeling. So you want to make sure you moisturize your skin and wear sunscreen, stay out of the sun. But it just, you have this glow, and it just refreshes the skin. It helps with, especially for people who have acne scarring, little tiny wrinkles. It helps to smooth it out. Like I have a scar on my forehead, and it used to be raised. I've had two microneedling treatments, and now it's like flush with my skin. I was like, oh my gosh. Like it just replenished my skin so much. And then the second treatment that I had, I did it with PRF, plasma rich fibrin, where she drew my blood, spun it down in the centrifuge, and then the plasma, which has stem cells and growth factors in it, she microneedled it into my skin. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like
And
I
is
was
that what
like,
they call on the streets the vampire facial?
the vampire facial, it's a trademark term, so I have to be
Okay.
creative with how I refer to it.
Got it.
But yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And then chemical peels are the one that I use, the VI peel, it's a combination of different compounds like glycolic acid and salicylic acid, to name a few. And you apply it to the skin. You leave it on for 4 hours, and then you wash it off. And over the course of the next couple of days, your skin, the superficial layers of the skin start to peel off, and it just reveals this newer glowing skin. And I have different types for different ages, different skin issues. So if you're more acne prone, or if you have areas of hyperpigmentation or melasma, to help kind of even out your complexion. So there are different ones for different skin types.
I've always been so scared of the chemical peel thing because of that one episode of Sex in the City where Samantha go and she like her face is like bright red and she's like wearing a veil, and then she like lifts it up and everyone's like, ah, what happened to you? But I'm scarred for life, so I've never done it. But I'm Brie keeps trying to talk me into that because she does it too. But I'm like, I don't know, I'm so scared. Tell me that it's not scary.
Oh, it's not. It's not. The ones that I have are medical grade, right? So only medical practitioners can do it. So it goes a little deeper than the ones that estheticians can do. And there's phenol the in the chemical combination. So it's relative, you might feel a little tingling, but it's not painful. Just you want to make sure that you don't have any social events to go to over the next week, right? To give your skin chance to fully peel. And oh my gosh, I was like, I'm a girl. Oh my gosh, it's the truth. I love
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, I got one in high school, I remember, and I was mortified. We had this big mirror in our hallway, and every time I passed it, like more skin was coming off. Maybe it was in college because I did all these things to my skin when I was the head of recruitment for all of the sororities because I wanted to be like, look at this face of the college, basically, like it better look right. So I went to this med spa in Boise multiple times. They have great med spas there. I still get their emails. And I was like, like it was like I don't know, it felt like a shedding cat or something. My face just big strips of skin. So this is My tip for everyone, like, really, you gotta go home and hibernate for like a week because you might be mortified. And everybody's different, but it was like, it was a lot of skin.
The one that I have, it comes with some cream that you can apply to your face to kind of, so that way you're not as embarrassed going out. It kind of moisturizes the skin so you're not like looking like something from Friday the 13th or something.
Yeah, that was me for sure. I was like, ah, this better like make me sell this sorority system to these kids. But one thing I was thinking about too that we've talked about before in my appointments, because I'm always so curious about it, is like there's a big like beauty, not movement, but there's like a big fixation on beauty right now, especially with like younger girls and getting their lip flips and their 15-minute Botox parking in Utah. And, I love my Mormons. So I'm always looking at their beauty trends and a big emphasis on like fillers and things like that, which I know you offer. But do you ever like talk people out of getting their lips done? Because even my best friend, I was like, oh, I've been told by multiple injectors that it hurts like a bitch. And I don't really need my lips done. I don't care that much. But then she went and got hers done. And she was like, it was so awful. I cannot tell you how awful it was. And I mean, she gave birth to 3 children, like one unmedicated too. So she knows pain. And she was like, I don't see much of a difference for the amount of pain that I had with it. And everybody is entitled to do their own like beauty things. That's great. I've tried various fillers before and loved it. But I'm curious too, like there's so much that we're seeing like in the media and what's beautiful that I wonder if you're counseling people of like what's the right move for them in their face.
I'm always very clear. Like I treat people conservatively because I really want to enhance your innate beauty, right? And I don't want people to necessarily know that you had work done, right? I want you to look like you, and that breaks my heart. I definitely, oh, I have a wonderful, wonderful client who is gorgeous. And so we did her lips, and let me just tell you, she is deathly afraid of needles. So we started doing dental blocks on her. So that's where, so exactly what dentists do to numb you up to have dental procedures done, we do that for the lip filler treatment, just so you're comfortable. It takes the edge off, and so that way you're not squirming in your seat the whole time, right? Because I believe in being merciful, right? Like, but she loved, and she's already gorgeous. She loved the lips, and she was like, I think we could go bigger. I was like, honey, nope. Because at a certain point, if we keep filling the lips, it's gonna go beyond the what we call the vermilion border, right? That border of the lip. And then you start looking like a duck. And so, yes, I tell people no. I said no. So what I did is she had never done a lip flip. We did a lip flip because then that just gives you a little more of a oomph without me having to do any more filler, right? And she loved it. So I can compromise that way, but I'm not gonna overfill. Mm-mm.
And what exactly is a lip flip?
Excellent question. So a lip flip is using Botox to relax the muscles around the mouth just enough to give you a pout. So even for clients who are considering lip filler, oh, so sorry. I do that so that they can see what they would look like if their lips were filled, because it just gives them a little plump. We can't inject the Botox as deeply as we do in the forehead because you need those muscles around the mouth. It relaxes you to the point where it'll be more challenging to suck on a straw or to whistle. But it gives them an idea for it lasts about 6 weeks. So not as long as Botox in other areas of the face.
I have a question. Do you said it relaxes muscles. I am a perpetual jaw clencher. Is that a thing?
Yes, it is, my dear. That is one of my favorite treatments to do, to treat people with TMJ. So many people clench their teeth, grind their teeth, and it causes so much pain. That is one, and I even suffered from it. So even when I was training, and I underestimated how much of an issue it was for me, because I would wake up in the middle of the night with such headaches. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it done. And it changed my life. Uh, when she injected me, I automatically felt my jaw relax, and I was like, well, I know Botox doesn't, because Botox takes about 3 to 4 days to kick in. I was like, that's immediate, and it's almost like a trigger point injection. So immediately I felt a little bit of release in that tension in my jaw. I was able to, once it kicked in, I was sleeping through the night. My headaches were gone. This stuff is the truth. That's my favorite treatment to do for people, to give them their lives back. I even
Well,
had,
I'm gonna be booking an appointment with you because my face hurts all the time. I'm when I'm concentrating, I'm like clenching my teeth and like it my jaw always hurts.
and what ends up happening is that because you're engaging those muscles, and those are some of the strongest muscles in the body, those muscles start to grow because you're exercising them so much, right? Over the course of the treatments with the Botox, some people notice that because they're not engaging the muscles as much, it slims the jawline because you're not engaging those muscles as much.
Yeah, like my face is naturally like that shape, and I if I were to drop my jaw, I think it would totally change the shape. This is so interesting. Mind blown.
I love this stuff. I really do.
So, like, this conversation is so important because we're not, like, we're shifting the conversation from, like, just beauty based, right? It's beauty based, but it also has really important benefits for things that people might, like, I was sleeping on Botox, right? Because I had no idea. I'm like, oh, I don't have 11s or, like, whatever. But maybe this is great. This is a great solution.
Hmm.
Also, it's used for people who have excessive sweating. It's a treatment for that too. Because what it does is it constricts the pores. So I treated someone who runs marathons, and she was like, and so like we made sure we timed it before her race, and she was like, I wasn't sweating on my forehead. Like, it was great.
When it
It's
gets in
really
their
cool.
eyes. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, she loved it for that effect.
My grandfather just retired 2 years ago. He's either 93 or 94. We were debating about that yesterday. But he was a periodontist and he treated a lot of TMJ and he was all over like the clenching and how Botox can help it. He's like way ahead of his time. Also a UW dental school graduate, your medical school, but still similar. And he before it was like before people knew about TMJ, he was really treating and studying that with people in his office because so many people clench and are damaging themselves and their teeth that and they don't know that they can do something about it.
Exactly, right? They can get their lives back. Like, I remember I met someone who was very skeptical about Botox. And so we were talking about all the different uses for Botox, even migraines. I've consulted people and referred them to go back to their PCP to get a referral to neurology to see if they can get the Botox covered through their insurance to get treated for their migraines. Because, if you come to me, it's just because the sheer volume of units to treat a migraine is so much more than just for aesthetics, that if they could get it covered through their insurance, then that's the way to go.
And they can't use their insurance with you. Yeah, because you're not trying to deal with that. There's a lot coming out right now about like even deductibles and how much you have to pay for drugs, like everybody's taking their piece along the way, and it's really scary. So I'm excited about Mark's company. I know there's a few others out there too, but just like I'm really eager to see what comes out of this movement to get away from the insurance model. And what's interesting about it too is that, like, I was talking to my husband about it. I was like, this would be better for us to just be part of these memberships. And we would actually be incentivized to take care of ourselves every month, because that's part of this membership is a monthly appointment. And the problem is that we have to pay for insurance. Like we have to have insurance. And so you're already paying for that. It would be paying double. And I think that, like, unless you're in a privileged position where you can afford or choose to afford both, then you're kind of like, well, let's see what insurance covers first. And it really just kind of puts you in some not so golden handcuffs that way. But it's cool to me, like Emilie said, that you can people come to you, probably like their funnel is like, oh, I discovered caring through Botox. And then they go down this whole journey of like, oh, look, I'm like taking care of myself now from the inside out, where before it was from the outside in. And there's definitely something to be said for like, I feel beautiful, I feel myself, so I'm out there making moves, and it makes me want to like take care of myself on the inside too. Like it could go either way, but I love that there's opportunity for people to start their journey with you in a lot of different capacities. So it's
Oh,
exciting.
it is. It is. And I'm just, you know, for people who are nervous about taking the leap to bet on themselves, like this was the best decision I've ever made. Like the awesome people that I've been able to meet along the way, like to be in a among a community of especially women entrepreneurs who support each other. You know, it's not as of like a competitive dog eat dog kind of like we genuinely support each other. It's a wonderful, like it's the best decision I've ever made.
Isn't that so special? Like that's the whole premise of this podcast. Like Whitney and I sought out to empower other entrepreneurs and like help others realize how beautiful this path is and make these amazing connections and refer each other and like answer each other's questions and like it's such a beautiful journey. And I'm thankful every day that I'm on it too. Like I'm so glad that we all share that same passion.
Yeah. And what it's brought to us too, just in the curiosity of the conversations, has been incredible. But beyond that, like the bonds that we've built with people in having just this tiny little platform where they can share their story has been just really heart-filling for us as well. So thank you for saying that, because that's definitely like the mission of this project, and we love doing it. Do you want to do rapid fires, Emilie, or do you want me to?
No, I could do it. So the first question we ask is, what's lighting you up in your business right now?
Meeting some really awesome people. I wasn't taught business, so I'm learning as I go. And one of the things that I've learned about is your ideal client. And that lights me up when I meet people who are on the same wavelength, and can, you know, I learn so much from people. That lights me up. And also to see the smile on people's face, to know that I am adding to their life in any negligible way, that lights me up.
We love that. Connections are the most powerful thing. Tell us about a book that you read or a podcast you listened to that recently changed the way that you're thinking about your life or your business.
The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. That book, like I have to keep reading it because there are all these nuggets that I get from it. Um, I think from reading his book, I realized that entrepreneurship is also like it's a spiritual journey. Um, it's challenged me in so many ways. And he even he even gives you like a mantra to say, like, I'm expanding in abundance and love and success, and I inspire others to do the same. Um, I feel like that book, for anybody who's thinking of going into business, they should read that book. He even has like a part at the end talking about how you go through this process in relationship. Because as you are growing in your business, you want to make sure that you're growing with your partner. So that was really eye-opening and really helpful too.
That's now on my wish list. Thank you.
We'll also link it in the show notes. Um, okay, this one, our last guest said that it was very morbid, but I never thought about it that way.
No.
What would your last meal be? I don't
My
know.
last meal. I don't think that's morbid. Well, I'm a doctor, so what's morbid? Um, my last, you know what? I would have to say it would be some dish from Trinidad, maybe a roti, especially since I don't have access to my food all the time. So it'd probably be roti, which is curry with like kind of like a naan bread, um, or pilau, which is more of an African inspired dish with rice and peas, and it's delicious.
Can you cook for us, please? That sounds so good. Can we come to your house?
Yes.
That that would be another fun business idea, like our guests, like where they're from, bring a dish where you're from and have a big potluck. Sorry, I'm like getting very inspired by this conversation. I've already emailed Whitney like 3 times during our conversation. I'm like, this is so
Oh,
exciting.
that's what you were doing? I was taking photos, a little bit of selfie.
um, what is the best business purchase in the last 6 months that you've made? Hold on, under $100, we say, but you can cheat if you need to.
Can I please cheat? Um, um, the best thing that I did was to change my website. When I
Yes,
was
snaps.
starting my business, when I started my business, I went with someone who designed a beautiful website, but did not help me with SEO at all. And so for the first year plus, um, I did not there was no traffic coming, and I was just like scratching my head, like, why can't people find me? So I recently revamped my website, and now people are finding me and I went with a woman this time, and she, for a lot less, helped me. And so now business is picking up. So that's the best thing I did.
Yeah, share her contact information with us so that we can interview her because I add SEO to a lot of the blogs that I write. I don't do SEO generally, but that's something that I think people should learn more about, and especially from a woman.
I
For
I
sure.
agree.
And the last question. Oh, you know what? I flipped the first and the last, Whitney.
I know,
So,
I was like, look at her.
what are you proudest of in your business right now?
So I have 3 daughters, and everything I do is with them in mind and to be an example to them, and for them to see that, because since, especially for my two oldest, like, all they know is that mom was studying to be a doctor, became a doctor. Um, but it's never too late for you to pivot. And I wanted to let them know, like, you're never stuck. You always have options. So that's the proudest thing for me right now, is to show them the way to navigate through life, that you're never stuck. You got options.
I love
That's
that so
amazing.
much.
Yeah.
So amazing. So Karen, can you please share with our listeners where they can find you, how they can get a hold of you? We'd love to link that in our show notes and, make you accessible for everybody.
And plug your membership.
Sure thing. My website is www.blisshealthmd.com, and you can find out more about me there. You can reach me at 425-553-6485. Also, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Bliss Health and Wellness. And again, access is huge to me. And I know with the way that the economy is going, I wanted to make my services accessible to people. So I'm offering a membership for $100 a month. It can go toward whatever service you so choose. So anything I offer, it's available to you for $100 a month.
I love it. What you're doing is so cool for people, and you are located right by Home Goods in Linwood for our local listeners, and that is a very dangerous place for me to be all around. But I just love coming and seeing you. And one of the tips that I recently learned from going to see a girl who does butt cupping, which was an amazing experience, is maybe don't go get Botox on your period because it hurts more. Same with the butt cupping. So that was something I hadn't thought about. If you're thinking about doing anything with Karen that involves needles or potential pain, your pain tolerance is lower when you're on your period. And I never thought about that. So that's
The
my
dentist always hurts. The dentist also hurts more, so don't do that either. Don't get a teeth cleaning.
Yeah,
I learned
That
that.
is so true. That's an
you don't
excellent
know.
point.
Yeah. And it's things that you probably know, just like, duh. And I'm like, why is the butt cup hurt so bad? It doesn't matter that it took like 10 months to even get into her, so I wasn't thinking of when my period would be, but that's neither here nor there. We're so grateful for you to make the time for us, and we're excited for everybody to hear your episode. And for all of you listeners, thanks for checking out this episode of The Coast. If you're local, check out Karen's services. She's always adding more, and get on her newsletter so you can be the first to know what she's offering. She's running specials often for the holidays as well.
Thank you so much for having me, ladies. This is awesome.
Okay, here's another awkward goodbye. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
This episode edited by Kate Gentry Shue.
And music provided by Sloan Best.